This is Scott Fain with the Youngstown Lifestyle Podcast, and today, for my guest, I have an entrepreneur, a real estate investor, and a devoted father and husband, Lem Balagot. How are you doing today, Lem?
Doing well, Scott. How are you?
I'm doing really good. It's a nice cold morning here. I'm in Detroit today, visiting family.
The holiday season is more about family and being with loved ones. I mean, I'd replace that. I wouldn't replace that for anything. I mean, it'd be nice to be in warmer weather, but I'll take it as is, you know.
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean. One of the things that I was interested in talking with you about in some of our conversations between you and I and you and my partner, one of the things that comes up has to do a lot with family and being balanced and being able to get things done for your family and everything like that. I know that you spend a lot of time with your kids. I don't hear them in the background right now, but I know they're around and they're definitely a presence. So how do you prepare when it comes to getting your life together so you can go out and do deals and whatnot, with the family and everything like that? How do you balance it?
Well, I mean, obviously it's tough, but those are my whys. Getting into the real estate venture was due to them. I can always say, let's make $1 million, but my family is more priceless than anything else. And so where I'm getting at is this whole venture has to do with what I call ROIT, which is the return of investment of time. And, it's tough, but, we try to make it work as much as possible. I mean, I believe you have kids. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. I've got 3. Okay.
So you're in the same boat as me as knowing how tough it is. And but we just make it work. I have a devoted life/business partner who supports and puts in way more than a few cents in to make us accomplish what we need to do. So that's
important.
It's very important because if you don't have yeah, agreed. And without that support, you get to the point where if things aren't going well, you have someone there to pick you up and push you forward. So, it's kind of like a cancer. If you have something that's going wrong and the other portion is starting to get affected by it, you can kiss it goodbye. But you have someone there who's actually fighting it for you and doing what they can to relieve it.
To work with you. I know what you mean. It's about having somebody have your back. And like one of the reasons we started doing this podcast is just to share a little bit about our lives, because there's a lot more things that connect us than divide us. We find like once you actually start talking to people. And when it comes to Youngstown in particular, because I want to make sure I do center a little bit of focus on Youngstown because that's where we're investing in right now. With Youngstown in particular, it's just that I feel like there's a whole lot of growth, a whole lot of potential for doing investing and working with good people, but it's about connecting with them, on a person-to-person level. And so I find value in just, like you said, coming together and having a conversation about just what makes us tick, if you will. Now, as you're doing your investing and putting together financing and things like that, for Youngstown specifically, what is something that you've seen in that area that sparks you, that makes you want to invest there?
Well, I mean, after speaking with you and your partner on multiple conversations, my first thought is what your company and what your venture is trying to do in the community of Youngstown. And And, you know, Detroit was the same way for a while, you know, and now you're seeing people coming together. And if you look at the market in Detroit, I mean, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you've had pockets in Detroit that you won't even step ground into. Now you go in there 15 years later, and I mean, it's just a complete different fruit. And what I see and what you guys want to accomplish and move forward with, that's catching my eye, because I've seen some transformation here in the city of Detroit. And if it can happen here, you got a larger scale, obviously, of population, but in Youngstown, you have a little bit of a smaller scale, which is definitely feasible. So what's catching my eye is, number one, what you guys are trying to accomplish there, because I've seen it. And I'm in the Detroit market. Have I stepped foot into your market at all in Youngstown? Absolutely not. But what I was mentioning to your partner during our conversation is, you know, since we've ventured, my partner and I ventured towards hitting other markets across the nation, your market has been becoming more and more involved in my opportunities. And so since connecting with you and as well as your partner, Matt, then I'm getting a lot more insight of that market itself. And, you know, I mentioned it to him before. It's your network is your net worth. And take it as value as you want. You know, it can be in money, but it can also be in what you believe in. And those are values. So when I take that into account, to answer your question is, I see what you guys want to do. And again, the whole business plan of it is definitely eye-opening.
Yes. We'd like to center it on helping people and, you know, being able to, well, actually helping yourself and helping people at the same time is the most honest way of saying it, because we all got to eat, you know, at the end of the day. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of times, though, the misstep where a lot of people get into it, I think, is some of the greed factor when you try and grab more than you need necessarily. It's like there's enough on the table for everybody to have some and keep it moving.
Absolutely.
And it's like that's kind of how we've been doing business for a long time, and trying not to be like to take all the money out of a deal. You know, that's actually killed a lot of deals for us when, you know, you get into something that, you know, where folks want too much and you can't come to an arrangement, can't come to a compromise. But tell me a little bit about go-giving. I heard that term tossed around a little bit. I wanted to hear what your take on being a go-giver is and what that is.
Sure. Well, in a perspective to go-giving is what you give comes back in return without expecting it. So my goal when getting into real estate is my number one target was helping, you know, homeowners with foreclosed positions. And when you're able to assist someone, like you just said, you know, there's enough on the table already. The greed portion is knocked out of the picture. People always look for what's in it for me. That has value to it, to go giving, but in a different type of value. You know, the greed portion is physically. Mine, again, what I just to retract is my value is assisting someone and helping someone get out of their situation. So again, the whole real estate venture is not making millions. That's never been my goal. My wife started off as an RN, and I see how she helps people every single day. Well, I kind of put that into this perspective of just helping people every day, whether it's for business or their life situation, whatever it is. I like to give that, and at the end of the day, I'm able to share it with somebody else. So that's my value, you know, through experience, through knowledge. And it comes back to you that way rather than just a physical dollar bill. You know,
I saw a lot of that with we used to do short sales a lot. And, you know, when you have the house where the value's upside down, there's a lot of pain, potential pain in that, dealing with that situation with folks and helping people address it and come out from under the debt that they're in. So I understand what you're saying, you know, with regard to just trying to be helpful, you know.
And I, you know, closing a deal on Friday and just yesterday. And, you know, when you get that recognition from a homeowner saying, thank you, you know, that, you know, you don't look for that all the time, but it's nice to take in when you hear things like that. You know, was this the complete deal breaker that put me over the top? No. But when you hear that recognition from a homeowner that was in a situation, the gratification is just unreal. And, you know, and it comes back to, like, for example, the holiday season. You know, when you said there's so much iron on the table, people are so worried about what they're getting for their nephew, for their own kid, whatever it might be, but they put value to that now. That's how society perceives it now. You know, it's a value of physical. Does that make sense?
Seeing the happy, yeah, you're kind of, the value that you're taking out is the value that you get in watching someone receive what it is that you're giving. You know, I understand that a lot. And sometimes that's the greatest thing. You know, I like to do cooking, so, you know, when I make something that's really, really good and I set it in front of somebody and I get that, you know, that excited, that is a personal, you know, that's a triumph for me. You know, that you can have, you know, so I get the relationship between being able to give something of yourself and, you know, and experiencing joy, and that's part of what you're getting from it, you know, not money.
Exactly, and that's what go-giving is. You know, it's your own self-gratification, you know. You can take it as how you want to, but when I go give, it's just the value is much more other than what's in it for me, you know. It's more of an inner feeling more than anything else. So that's how I perceive.
Does that have anything to do with your decision to use like private funding? Like you guys do private funding as an investment strategy, to, you know, as a means to helping people? Absolutely.
You know, I mean, the return it's when you're looking at the value of money, the return is there, of course. Is it nominal? Sure. But is the value more of knowing where your money is going? It's no different than saying taking your extra $1,000 and go giving it to Salvation Army. You know, again, it's a value that you're giving physically, but the return that when we private fund, the meaning of it means more than the physical return. The gratification, again, is much more than that. You know, this is money that we could use and just give it straight to the Salvation Army. But at the same time, we're able to provide it to suit another family into another home. We're able to provide this funding for the business that needs it to provide it. I mean, it's just a chain reaction. And when you say, you know, to help, yeah, absolutely. This is why we fund money as well, you know.
And that type of funding resonates out, that type of activity. You know, you're helping that one family. That's huge because that one family has, you know, have members in it. But they're also, you know, that they've got family and people that are going to come to them, and, you know, that creates a level of stability for that person that then can branch out and reach other people.
Exactly. Let me ask you a question, Scott. When you've closed deals in the past, do you often or check out? So let's say you closed a deal a year ago. Do you ever find the end result at the end of the day to see what it really turned out to be?
Like kind of a where are they now type of deal?
Exactly.
With the deals that close. I did that on a couple. Mostly with like the land contracts that I've done. Just checking in with the folks after the fact. And they're in a better, they're happier. You know, they have a place that's theirs. It feels like we work together as a partnership almost. And well, it kind of was. You know, they put their blood, sweat, and tears into making a home for themselves. I had the ability to, you know, purchase the place and then sell it back to them on, you know, land contract. And it was it was an easier and more rewarding thing than going to like a larger bank, a larger branch bank, where you know it's more business and stuff like that. And plus, the time in and out of the deal was a lot quicker too. You know, it wasn't a 30-year, you know, mortgage. They were out within 3 years, both of them. You know, and they had their home. So yeah, I did, and I was very pleased with it.
And that's, and I don't know about you, but I get the feeling when I see that. Just think about how much you inspired somebody else, or how much they could be going to bed every single night thinking Scott, thinking, you know, the person who helped me achieve this. So I have a roof over my head for my 2, 3 kids, whatever it might be. And, they were in a situation, and it's a life changer for them. People don't see it until you actually really see it. So that's where I'm getting at.
What? With regard to that, I don't get me wrong. I can take a compliment, but I don't like to wallow in it too long. One of the things that I would say to anyone is, you know, if they're feeling that level of gratitude, is spread it outward. You know, pass it on to someone else. You know, like that level of gratitude, and that would make me feel better. You know,
absolutely. Like
the initial thank you. Give that good positive to somebody else. And that's going to do more, you know.
Well, they say, adapts to the environment, right? So the more goodness that comes out there, the more people are going to adapt to that, you know. And you see it today in the news every single day. I mean, today I hate to get into this whole subject of social media. But if we're talking about what we see and what we adapt to is what we see every day on news to, you know, you can look at Facebook, whatever it might be. But that rubs off. For some reason, society has adapted to bad news or bad things is good news. And
because it leads, that type of thing. Yeah.
You know, and that's why I don't even turn on the news anymore. I can't remember the last time I turned on to my local station, my Fox, my NBC, because it just doesn't. I don't want to adapt to that. And for me to have that positive mental attitude every single day, I stay away from that. And
it beats you down. I don't know if you listen to, what was it, Dave Chappelle, one of his recent comedy specials. He actually said something like that. It was like, remember in 1980, I don't know how old you are, so I don't know if you were around in 1986 when the space shuttle blew up, the space shuttle Challenger. I was just a kid, and it kind of hung a pall over the whole country during that time. And he makes the point that nowadays it's like the space shuttle blows up every day. There's always something happening where, you know, there's news about it, and it kind of makes you feel bad because that's, like we're saying, if it bleeds, it leads, so that's what we see first. But I think I was saying to someone else just the other day that the world is a wonderful place. It's full of wonderful things. And if you take on everybody else's stress, everybody else's heartache, and everybody else's pain, it's like I can empathize, but I can't take it on too. And that's what a lot of times social media and the news will do to you. Like there's got to be a balance between knowing what's going on in the world, because we do have to know that, you know, what's happening and, you know, what our leaders are trying to do and whatnot. But there's also, you got to turn it off sometimes just so you can have the peace of mind to move forward in the day. You know?
I agree. I agree.
Before we get too far off, I wanted to ask you one last question, more of just a fun, frivolous question. It seems like a change of pace because I know we run out of time. What's your favorite comfort movie?
What is my favorite comfort? Sorry?
Your favorite movie. Just the movie that brings you the most comfort, you know, the one that you turn on and you've seen it more than 10 times, that type of thing. I'm just curious. Okay.
Well, I mean, I can rate. That's kind of putting me on the spot, but I can tell you what I've been watching. And I don't know if it's because of just my kids, but for some odd reason, the movie that is turned on at least, I'm going to say at least 5 times a week, is Armageddon.
The meteor, the comet movie, the meteor movie. I'm not even mad at you. I like that movie too. I always call that one of my favorite popcorn movies.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is I guess it's becoming our lullaby. So, I mean, I'll turn it on, and my kids and I will just start watching it, and next you know, 30 minutes later, we're asleep. Now, I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, out of all movies, but for some odd reason, that movie is coming up at least 5 times a week. Now, are we finishing it all the time? No, absolutely not. Just
finish it. You know, that's a good one. That's a good one. I understand why why it's comforting to you. It's made that way.
Yeah.
You know, the imagery and the music and the characterization and stuff like that. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you.
Personal level, I mean, one of my favorite movies, I'm into sports, so, and I can watch this many, many times without losing interest. And that movie would be Jerry Maguire.
Okay.
And I feel like the only reason why I say that is it kind of relates to how I talk to my in this game of real estate is, look, I take one client at a time, and I don't need 300. If I'm able to convert one at a time, it's a lot more to me than having 3 and being spread thin and not paying enough attention to my one that I should be concentrating on getting it closed. And maybe I'm sure that when you find an acquisition team, they have 4 or 5. Well, again, with this, I have my life and my business partner, and I have another partner that I work with. It's just us 3, but we take one deal at a time. When you start spreading yourself, then your clients, that's when we were talking about greed earlier. I just look at more of a client as a name first rather than just a number. And, and just to hear that from the homeowners that you put time into it, to situate it. They don't know how much effort was put into it. They don't know how much time it is, but they know that you were there when they needed it. So. Right.
And then, it just gives you a quality. I remember that movie, and that's one of the tenets of it, is sometimes it's good to just focus on a couple of clients and help them and just give that part of yourself, and it's more rewarding. And I think you kind of set me up there for being able to say, and they can show you the money at the end of the day.
Exactly. There you go. Today, the go-get became show me the money. And, it came that way. But if you notice in the movie, I don't know if you recall it too much, but throughout the time, look, Jerry Maguire was there to make money, right? But by the end of the movie, it became more of a from client to client rather than, or to, you know, Jerry and Rod. You know, like they connected on a personal basis because he took the time to actually know what this person's situation was.
Right.
And they both understood it. So I'm not saying every single client has to know your personal business, and then I don't need to know their personal business. However, I need to know their situation, and then they need to know how I'm able to help, period.
Right. And I think on that note, because we're running out of time here, I would let you go. I want to thank you again for talking with me. We have to do this again in a little bit more time, a little bit less holiday in our faces. But I want to thank you.
I said it was my pleasure, and I appreciate the time.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Well, thank you. For those who want to get in touch with them, you can contact them through our website, A Real Estate Plan for You. That's A Real Estate Plan, the number 4, the letter U. And once again, Lem, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Have a wonderful holiday.